Hello.
Hello. Look, we're in a new place here.
I
Mom-proof
know.
is back. New digs.
Woo!
Wait, are we comfortable or uncomfortable?
A
we
little
better figure it out.
uncomfortable, but I appreciate you bringing that up because it's part of our
It's our
title.
job.
Yeah.
It's the art of being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah, so we're just changing our environment around.
Oh gosh, we're following our own advice.
That's so good.
Oh my God.
That's so good. I mean, when's the last time you literally sat somewhere and were like, I'm not very comfortable right now?
Ooh, should we do that for next episode and think about how many times? Like every time we're giving each other things to do.
Yes,
Yeah,
as
Just
a
like
takeaway.
last time. Do you remember?
There was a homework assignment.
Yes,
It wasn't
it
a
was.
homework assignment. People don't like that.
Well,
It was
well,
a
we challenged
challenge.
ourselves to go 3 days without negative thoughts, or at least catching them. So anyway,
how that went? Maybe not.
Oh, no, let's
Well,
come back, right?
Let's come
yeah, I'll
back.
tell y'all later. 'Cause
Okay.
I think later before we end, I'll let
Ooh,
y'all know.
okay.
If
Ooh.
not, we're just going to distract from our
That's right.
why we're here.
Why we're here today.
Why are we here? We're talking about fears and the future.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
Kids are stressed.
It feels
Parents
like
are
parents are
stressed.
stressed.
And you know,
How
I
can we
think
help?
one thing that we were talking about is like we're not here, to teach or tell people how to parent. Basically, I'm glad we're going to be talking about this because it's just like we want to tell our stories and hopefully it'll resonate with people and see if they can get some insight from that and get relief. Because I think that everybody is kind of tense for many reasons.
I think you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. We're not the
Spot on.
experts. Although,
Kathleen
No,
is.
yeah, y'all
I
say
do
it.
think sometimes I'm
Sometimes
kind
I
of an
play one on
expert
TV.
at
Oh.
trying to parent really good, but not really.
Yes.
No, I'm trying, but it's not. I mean, all my kids, it didn't go so well. They're great
Oh
humans.
my gosh, you've done an extraordinary
no,
job.
I accept my mistakes.
Totally, which we were
I'm
talking
okay.
about last
Parenting
time.
is so different. We were mentioning that as well.
Yes.
We're parenting adults
Yeah.
now. I mean, my oldest is 36.
Dang.
My youngest is 19. You've got 11.
Yep.
And
We have like
19.
20-year-olds. Yeah.
yeah,
have a
we just
19-year-old.
parent different times at different ways.
Yeah.
But right now, parenting is, I think it's really intense. I'm glad I don't have a little one.
Yeah,
It's
I think it's
hard.
been a buildup. I think it's
Yes, it's
a
not
lot
overnight.
it's not overnight, and I think our perceptions and the things that have happened in our environment, and now with all the technology and the AI, information overload. God,
Well, remember, and I heard this on that podcast, Sandra, and we want to talk about some of the things we've heard the Surgeon General come out with recently.
I know you hear that and you sit up.
Surgeon General.
The Surgeon General says.
And I'm referred to as the colonel in my friends group, but that's because I'm kind of like an A-type personality. But the Surgeon General has so much good information.
He
He's
trumps that, right?
He's actually a doctor. But they were talking about how think about in the 80s. So we were all probably young adults or teenagers, and there would be kids missing on the back of a milk carton.
yes,
How scary that
Remember
was.
that?
Yes.
And just, that's when the guy that started America's Most Wanted kids, his
Yes.
kid Adam went missing. It was a big thing. Like, do you know where your kids are? There was a campaign.
Yes, with all the movie
With
stars,
all
and
the
they were
movies,
saying, "Do you know where your
kid-
children
Cyndi
are
Lauper.
tonight?"
Yeah, where's your kid?
Yes,
And parents were guilted into like becoming more like, tentacles.
yeah,
And
hands on.
now, according to the Surgeon General, Sandra, what did we just listen to?
They're just saying that parents are in danger. It's actually in danger of overstressed, being so stressed.
Over tentacle, right? We're so
and
in
we're
it.
just, yeah.
How
And,
so? What does he say we're doing?
Well, we're just hovering a lot over our children, but it's not so much as the helicopter parenting and all this. Is just like we're always taking time to, like, everything has to be a lesson, or if the kids are watching TV, we want to explain to them.
Sit down with them. Ask them what they think about
Yeah,
the theme.
or-
Teach them about the theme.
Oh my gosh, this is
Okay,
stressful.
Barney.
Thing
Barney.
that I thought was
That's
really
stressed out.
really interesting was he's saying before it was like parents would go play tennis, okay, and then the kids would go play in the playground, but
Yeah.
now the parents are playing tennis with the kids.
Yes.
So basically, I think it's
Way more involved.
more involved, and we're not letting the kids have their independence.
So we went to the extreme
We
of
did.
family time,
Yes.
didn't we?
We did.
We talked about how important it is to have family dinners, but we
Yes.
don't have to go play pickleball with our kids every other minute, right?
Tuesday.
That's so interesting. And now we have someone that's saying it's just too much. Parents are too stressed out.
Yeah.
And we're projecting that on our kids. We wonder why our kids are stressed.
Yeah.
Big time. And we talk about the
What
central
can we
nervous
do? You
system.
must hear about it in your therapy sessions with
Absolutely.
these teenagers. That's got to be hard.
You know what's so interesting though? What I think from the mouths of babes, you do get your nuggets. And I think they don't feel that they're stressed because of us, but I think there's a permeating energy that becomes like a community stress. Like, where's my kid going to college? What car is my kid driving? Do you work and go to school? You know, what clothes are you wearing? And it's kind of a thing that we're not like saying like, you know, okay, kiddo, you got to go to the best college, but it's kind of a thing that has been created amongst the culture in which we live.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean where we live. I mean as a general national.
Right.
Remember what we were hearing was just so overwhelming for, I think, parents is that they're worried their kids may not do as well as they have for the first time. And
well, because it's like, you know, when you were growing up and you were middle class, you expected that your kids were just going to naturally be middle class.
totally.
But now somehow we've gotten into our heads that if our kids don't go to a certain college or they don't do certain things, if they're not in these pro teams,
Socials, yeah.
and that they are going to be below the middle class. And that's the thing is that now we're talking about status of where
So
our
why
kids
are
gonna
we
fit
so
in.
worried? It's that fear in the future equals anxiety.
Yes,
Our entire culture is tapped out.
it is. Didn't you have a young person in your life say that maybe living here
Absolutely.
was a lot
Right.
for him or her?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, suicide, it is. It's a thing, right? It happens.
But so what
Because you
can we
can't
do?
take-
Oh,
you
sorry.
can't take it, right? The
No.
anxiety. These kids
No.
are having to deal with so much.
The tolerance of it.
Yeah.
I saw this, it was a meme, but it was something about, you know, I would rather hear your story, even if it's stressed out and anxious, than go to your funeral. You know, let's remember that one of the most
That's
important
right.
things we can do as parents, friends, colleagues, women, sisters, wives, is to listen. And I know we've talked about it before, but honestly, I want everyone today as like another challenge to go to your people, whoever they are, later today, and just ask some questions that are open-ended and see if you can listen more than you talk. It should be probably 2/3 listening, 1/3 talking. That's challenging.
It is hard.
Do you do that with your partners, with your kids?
Well, I mean, for a while, I thought everything was a teachable moment.
The Surgeon General wrote about you today.
Yes. And now I just listen. I mean, I learned so much more from listening to everybody, to
Mhm.
my friends, you know, I learned so much, like just listening to what people have to say and kind of like taking that in on myself and say like, oh, well, what do I think about that? Or how do I,
Yeah.
you know, but no, I think it is important to listen.
Remember your manners book even pointed that out.
Yes.
I loved that you could wait like maybe 10 seconds after someone stops talking.
It's very
before-
hard.
I know.
Try it.
It's so, I tried it at home with my spouse.
But it's hard for
See,
everyone.
I just tried it. I made it to 8 seconds. I'm like, oh, wait,
Good
this
one.
is a podcast.
Good
we
one.
have to
Yeah,
talk.
well, yeah, you might, yeah, that's different.
But it's
That is
hard.
important. It's about interrupting too. Of course,
Yeah.
we can do that because we're us.
That's right.
Because we're.
But even
Yes.
when you say something to someone and they pause for a little while, you're kind of like, oh, did I say something wrong?
Totally. When did the pause become so negative? We
It
feel
needs to be good.
the
It's part of
pause-
manners.
pregnant pause, they call it.
My dad used to say, engage the brain before putting the mouth in gear. I can't believe I
Ooh,
remember
that's
that.
really cool.
But it takes a minute. You can't change it
Yes.
all at one time, right?
Mm.
So we need to listen to our kids.
We
our
need to listen.
partners. So that's a good little nugget of homework.
That
I think I can pass on
Here's the
that.
other one, y'all. Remember we talked about
Oh,
this?
It's so hard.
If you haven't looked at the last
no.
report on your own phone usage, because we talk about trying to unwind and just relax into the moment, look at the phone usage and tell me how much phone usage you've had.
we don't have to really, though, right?
Oh,
Oh, do we? Are we going to be accountable for that?
I would love us to be accountable for
Okay,
that.
let's be real
Let's
with it.
report on
We'll be
that.
authentic.
Yeah, next
Yeah.
session.
Let's
not
do it.
session. Are we in a session?
Well, we
Something?
kind of are in a
I know, it
session.
feels like
I
we're in a
always feel
session.
better after these little gatherings.
Everything.
So thank y'all.
You got to be careful though, because you take everything to an extreme, right? And
True. Me?
we're well, no,
Oh,
in
okay.
general,
Yeah,
we
so I was like,
do.
what?
I mean, everything now has like I have a toothbrush that tells me how well I've brushed my teeth. I thought about this
Ooh,
morning.
This is good.
So sometimes maybe it feels like I didn't brush my teeth correctly. I get this sad face. So like,
That's terrible.
Yes.
That's a hard way to start your
Horrible.
morning.
I'd be like, fuck
Throw
you,
that
toothbrush.
away. Yeah, toothbrush out.
I didn't brush my teeth till I said happy birthday all the way either.
That's right.
That.
Yeah, 2 times, I think.
So
Oh,
it's
that's terrible.
all of the, and then I have my watch that tells me how I slept. So sometimes I didn't sleep enough. I just happened to sleep 6 hours, 6 minutes. It's what it told me.
Oh,
So
that's
it's like-
interesting. Because
so-
it's just 2 6s.
So that's like, oh, wow. Like, I didn't do that correctly.
Yes.
And so I was thinking, like, all these things are telling me, like, oh, you didn't do this right. You didn't do that right.
or did this too much.
Well, the good thing is that I've gotten to a point where I'm just kind of like, I take the information that I need and then I leave the rest.
That's
But
nice.
That goes back to that positive outlook. It is how we look at things, right? It
is.
is important because that I could see that. Oh, I didn't sleep. Oh, I didn't do this. It's telling you all
Did I
the
get my
things
steps
that you
in?
could have done better.
Exactly. Did I
Instead
get my
of-
steps in?
Hey, we're alive. We're upright. We're grateful. I mean, I had to do a big check-in on that today with a million things going on. Wait, just slow down.
Slow down.
Let me think about what I'm grateful for.
Yes. That's a good point,
And lean
Jane.
into that.
I mean, we've talked about staying positive in the mindset. And last episode, we talked about the Happiness Project from Harvard.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about what young people need to hear, there was a study, and I'm going to have to look at it.
Dude,
I
you can't be expected
I
to
know.
memorize
Sandra, if it didn't
everything.
come through. There it is.
You're really smart.
The Center for Generational Kinetics. And I know that sounds weird, but kinetic means like movement and generational, okay, obviously, but like the movement through generations of just what is the same, what is different, what we have in common, and so forth. And what they're finding is kids need to hear more of this, that you believe in them, that you want to inspire them to grow so that, again, those learning opportunities are there, mistakes, right? Fail forward.
Love it.
And provide good advice. They do want to hear it. Now, they may not show you they want to hear it, but that came from a study just recently. And it's not only in the workplace, but it's in our homes. And that was more embedded in a workplace study of like Gen Zs. But think about how often are we letting them know we believe in them, inspiring them to grow, even though it may look like steps backwards sometimes, and then also providing that good advice. When I was your age, and people go, don't ever say that. You can say when I was your age, just not when you're angry
Right.
or when you're being sarcastic, right?
That's good advice.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
good advice. It really is. Take a deep breath. Think about the situation and when you have an opportunity to say those things. with our
Yes.
kids.
Yes.
See fear and future. We need to inspire them.
We want to
need
inspire
to
them.
model behavior
Model.
and talk about things that they can do to give back to the world because you feel better when you give back.
Yeah.
That's part of the inspiration, I think. of
100% staying bothered
listening.
about
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, remember how we were trying to see back in when we first started our show that we were wanting our young girls, they were before college, almost there, to figure out something that would keep them bothered. And it may be time to check back in with them because I bet they might
Yeah.
have something that's motivating them.
Well, Sophia told me a couple weeks ago, she said that she wanted, I had no idea about this. She said that she has a dream that she wants to go to prisons and do something, whether it's teach or like play an instrument or something for them. And she says that
Is she
she's
watching the Menendez show Monsters? Is that what's happening?
Oh, snap.
I don't
Sorry,
know.
you're serious, but that's
But-
no. I'm
Well, I was in San Diego and we walked by and she's like, "Did you know that I have?" And I was like, "Wow, I did not know that about you." So it was like
That's
that's something new I learned
cool.
about her,
yeah.
and I was like, "Wow, that's really awesome,"
well, I think that's beautiful.
do come
Dreams
true.
do come true.
You're driving in it.
Don't bring it up.
I'm not going to say what. She wanted a car. This particular car was her dream car for I don't know how long.
Maybe
and now
5 years.
You visualize it.
Yes, I
You-
have it. I'll show you some other time. But anyway.
Is this the one we drove in today?
No.
I must have been asleep.
It's not the Tahoe, friends. But anyway.
Oh, but that is so important.
yes.
it
I
really
mean,
is.
to
Just
to think,
listen.
to listen. So listen, slow down, and choose the positive. How do you make that, though, something you do every day?
It's hard. Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
I think it is hard, but I mean, I had an incident like a couple weeks ago where I was very uncomfortable in a situation and I was kind of angry about it because I was like, why am I in this situation? And my normal instinct is to get really mad and probably dwell over it for weeks.
Okay.
But this one time I was like, well, what did I learn from that? Like, I did learn a big lesson. And I was grateful because I was like, if that wouldn't have happened to me, I wouldn't realized that there was something I need to do.
Absolutely.
Right. So then
Change
I was
that
like,
you could make or you want to make.
and so now instead of thinking of that incident as a bad thing, I kind of think of it as like, wow, I'm so glad that did happen. Sometimes it's hard.
Can we think of that when it comes to divorces and losses of that nature?
That's relationship building also, is when people, and it's the same with your spouse, your partner, your kids. When you're upset about something, you have to dial it back and think about the situation, not the person. So being mad at the person, you take that away and just be upset with the situation. And then what do you learn from that? Move on. And remember so often that people are a certain way because of how they grew up, and that doesn't go away.
No.
So our kids are a certain way because of the way we raised them, or maybe something that happened.
Yes.
And look, good parents, bad things happen to kids and they have to deal with
bad
things.
Bad things happen to good people. Yep.
Right. Right.
Well, remember we were talking about how come, like, kids question, why do I have to go to school? Like, there's so much pressure. I think that they're wondering, like, why do I go to school? Why do I have to go to college? Why is there anything important? And we had, I thought, some major ahas in that conversation. Do y'all remember what we said?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and a big part of that is because kids are so sucked into social media, gaming, and whatever it is they're doing on their computer, they don't think it's as important to go to school and be around other people.
Right.
And that's part of the reason, right? You have to go and learn how to be productive members of society.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
But at the end, it's like we have to remember, we have to be less stressed somehow. Whether that means taking 30 minutes, an hour for yourself.
Yes.
It's okay to leave your kid watching TV.
Yes.
While you go and do something for yourself.
Give permission.
Yes. You can leave
that's
it.
okay.
You don't have to sit there with them and analyze the show's theme.
No. And
okay, I was really terrible with the kids' movies. I did not. Sorry, kids. I didn't watch all the kid movies with the kids. A lot of parents sat right there with them. I mean, I only like Belle because she could read.
Belle from
She's my
the
favorite
princess. I know.
So yes, Fear and Futures. Yes. Fear.
Okay,
it's just
so I do want to know, were you able to catch your
my negativity in the bubbles? And
did you go 3 days?
I feel like I didn't. There was a part of me that was more cognizant that I can be pretty negative, but I found out it was usually around other people. So no, hear me out. Driving, waiting in line in the grocery store, like that shit. Like, I don't like people when it comes to
sharing their space.
Right. So I have to learn how to let go. And that's that kernel thing I was telling y'all about. The kernel can be a little punitive. And we're learning to embrace that part of me. Who are they? They're learning to embrace that part of me. We're learning. I'm learning to embrace.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a beginning of it. So, Sandra, I did probably like 50-50. What about you two? How did you feel on your negativity catching?
So I was an epic failure. I did mention I'm in the middle of a remodel.
Well, that's
so it was a lot. And here's where I catch my moment. When I'm driving, I love everyone.
You do?
I do.
When
I love everyone.
love
I do. I'm like, you have a great day. Are you okay?
Do you actually like look and
I do.
Do you try to do that at the stop sign?
I'm like, I really am. That is my, and
okay,
I know
I
can be super annoying to drive with at times too. Because
no, you're very patient when we drive.
I feel like that's my.
I think you're very
that's
I'm
one of my
so
superpowers.
impressed.
Thank
Don't
you.
make comment
but it
about
was
my
very
driving.
hard, and the people I happened to be around were not all very positive in the process of that. So when you have people around you that are really negative, I'm finding that to be more of a challenge to say, all right, you can't control that, but you can control this. So that's what I learned out of that. I'm going to try it again.
Yeah, I like it.
Reset.
Let's do that.
I like it though. I like actually having that right there, thinking about it. Yes.
Intentionality.
Yes.
What about you, Sandra?
Well, I went 2 days, and then on the third day was when I went to San Diego to visit Sophia.
You had to go on an airplane system.
And my flight was delayed 3 hours there and three back. But I did, what I did was I really started to breathe. I was like, every time I would start to get a negative thought, I'd catch it and then I'd just turn it off right away.
That's good. Maybe we need like a dream catcher, a negative thought catcher.
Oh,
Okay.
I love it. So I love that you mentioned breathing, though. And we all know that one as one of our major takeaways, friends.
Because when I was focused on the breath, then I just forgot about what that situation was.
Still and breathing.
You did good.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, she challenged us.
I know. Let's step up our game, Kathleen.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Is it question time?
Yes.
Okay, I was last episode.
I think, did I ask or was it you?
I don't know.
Okay, just you go and then Jane or Sandra.
Okay. All right. What's the most creative excuse your teen has given for why their homework is late, and how did you manage to stifle your laughter?
Instead of being super angry. Do they even give excuses anymore? I feel like they just I didn't do it.
Both my kids use the same excuse, and I don't know if they cohort. I don't know how this came about, but they both say it wasn't late. I turned it in.
Okay,
but I don't know what the teacher did with it.
They didn't put the grade in yet.
Forever.
That's
her fault.
Spot on. Yeah. I think that's probably the most, that's not even creative. Well, that is kind of creative because we do know how many students teachers have these days, these rock stars that are dealing with. I talked to a high school teacher the other day at the homecoming parade. I think she said she has 182 Algebra 2 students. Those are 10th graders, y'all. Picture.
God bless her.
I know.
We love you. Thank you for teaching.
Cindy, if you're listening to this.
Yes.
So I would never blame her. Now we have to come to the aid of these teachers and say no to our young people. You did not turn it into that teacher.
Yeah.
Just be honest. If you didn't do it, you didn't do it.
Right. My kids, they weren't that creative.
No. The dog didn't eat it.
No, the dog didn't eat it. I mean, it was all, I think it was mostly I did it. And the teachers, it was blame.
It was blaming.
What do you mean?
Yeah. So I guess that question was like a little bit limited.
Right.
That's okay.
That's all right. So we'll check back in next episode.
All right.
Fears and futures.
Thank you.
Fears and futures.
Thanks, guys.
That was awesome.